you are stuck in your paradigm, wherever you're at in the United States. So I live north of Orlando. As such, I am currently stuck in a paradigm of this is how life is on the daily up here north of Orlando. Well, guess what? When I'm enjoying my 70-degree weather in the middle of the winter, I cannot help but have a paradigm, a worldview that is severely altered from what the rest of my dream customers are going through in the United States. And I will forget on a daily basis in my 70-degree winter weather that people are freezing their tushes off in Michigan.
I'm Candace Rodarty, and this is Gratitude Geek. Today, I'm joined by the author of Ideas That Influence, Daniel Den. Welcome, Daniel.
Hey, Candace Rodarty. Thank you so much. I'm so privileged to be here with the other Gratitude Geeks. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, the audience, you are Gratitude Geeks. You know that you are. You know you are. All right. So, Daniel, you fell in love with sales and marketing 20 years ago. Why?
Yeah. Oh, what a good question. Thank you, Candace. Well, the answer is I finally found my shtick. And the reason why, I actually attribute it a lot to one book that really got me fired up. It's an older book. It's called The Psychology of Sales by Brian Tracy, a classic. I read that book and it was like, just like, I was so excited about what I was reading. I said, I could read this type of stuff all day. So I went deep, the marketing, psychology, the sales psychology, and I just started consuming lots of books, lots of courses. And when people would ask me what, like, hey, Daniel, like your birthday is coming up, like, what should we get you? I would say, marketing books. Get me some marketing books.
I remember reading The Psychology of Sales 20 something years ago, and my husband and I had first started. Wow, it was more than that. It was more than 20 years ago. But when we launched our custom furniture business, he and I would read business books together, and we went through a lot of Brian Tracy's books. Nice. I loved his 21 series. You know, he had 21 reasons to do this or 21 ways to do that. It was a very prolific sales writer.
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago. What's the one thing you learned from that book that took you on this journey? Do you think?
The one thing from that was when you learn to push the right buttons that really move the needle, specifically that book, whenever I reference it, he's the one that really always helps me to remember that testimonials is the number one way to sell. He had a process in the book and he became the number one sales guy because he would just walk around with a book of testimonials. And he would, whenever the customer had a question, he would just flip to the right testimonial and say, okay, let's read what Mrs. Jones had to say. And then he would just, his close rate was just astronomical from one big idea that moved the needle in a big way. And so ever since then, like I've been like down this track of like, all right, if I'm going to help somebody inside of their business, I don't want to like be like, hey, let's split test headlines until we, you know, like, yes, we're still going to split test headlines to see what's the winner for the best ad and all that. But also we're going to go way higher level strategic, and we're going to look for things that can move the needle in a really big way instead of, you know, a small bump.
So I have read your book, Ideas That Influence. Notice I have my little Post-it note tabs right there. I notice there's a lot of politics in this book, I want to touch on that in a second. Okay. But you talked about how Brian Tracy had his book of testimonials. Yeah, I'm kind of a weird person. I think I love to watch news conferences, press conferences with the press officer for the president. And the really good ones, the ones who always have the right answer, have these really big press books. And as somebody's asking them a question, they're flipping through the book to find the answer. And then they actually have the readout with the correct answer which is exactly what you were just talking about. When
Wow.
somebody had a question or a about Brian Tracy's process or his products, he had right there, here's the answer. He had a system. He had a system in place, right? So do you want to add to that before I go on to my next question?
It's just incredible. People don't know me yet, right? The other gratitude geeks are just getting to know Daniel Den right now. And I can talk until I'm blue in the face, but and I'm gonna close some sales. Because I'm good. Okay. But I'm not as good as other people talking about me.
Yeah.
You just can't get that good where you're better than when other people are saying good things about you. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
It was a lot easier for me to use testimonials when I was creating the website and the marketing copy and all that for my husband, because he was the professional furniture maker and I was his business partner, and I handled the marketing. And man, those testimonials, I created, there is a testimonial on every single page of our website, which is why we sold so much furniture, right? Because if you have 3 testimonials about that bed,
Yeah.
in
You're
that
gonna sell a
color
lot of
with
that bed.
pictures from the customer. I mean, so it's just, I agree with you on the testimonials. That's a whole, that we could have that. We could spend this entire podcast episode talking about the importance of testimonials.
Yes, we
But
could.
the problem I have with testimonials is when I'm talking about myself. Like
Mm,
how do I share the testimonials? Like yesterday, I gave my final class. I for about 4.5 years, I was teaching these free marketing classes, and I did the last one yesterday. It was really uncomfortable for me when they started to thank me and to tell me about how much they learned from me. And it's even more uncomfortable to share those messages with people. It's hard to talk about yourself. So talk about that. How do you
yeah.
get more comfortable sharing, without feeling like you're a 1 imposter, 2 narcissist?
Yeah. Imposter narcissist syndrome. So that's a great question. One, the answer for me personally is getting to the point in it doesn't matter what product or service you sell, but it's when you can genuinely get to the point where you realize you are doing the world a disservice by not advertising better. Now, if inside of your business you don't get to that point, then that's what you need to aspire to. But when like my conscious is saying, hey, you need to advertise more. And I feel like personally, I've done that with the Ideas That Influence interactive book box experience, where it's such a great experience and it's helping so many people that if I don't advertise it, if I don't talk about it, I feel like I am doing a disservice to people. Now, if
With
my
what
products
you've
and
done,
services,
the one thing that you have done with that box experience is that you've made it really easy for other people to share. Because all the folks that showed up in my class yesterday, my final class, got a message from me this morning saying, "Hey, you need to order this box."
oh,
So I hope you get a whole bunch of orders today from my clients.
I got some random orders today and I was like, I'm getting a few more than normal. That might have been it.
That was me.
That might have been it. Thank you, Candace. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. You're
So,
amazing.
um,
I'll have to share the names off camera and see if you
oh yeah,
recognize.
no, I know who it is because they've all told me. So,
Oh, there you go. Let's go. Let's go.
but you've made it super simple to share with your website. I mean, you have taken everything in your book and you've put it into play.
That's what I realized I needed to do.
Yeah, you gave it. Your website is a masterclass on how to share a product.
Thank you so much, Candace. Wow, like that coming from you, like thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. So we need to circle back to the politics comment before
Okay, the politics. There we go.
before I leaves my head. So the reason why I brought that up is there are a lot of political stories in here about campaigning. And the
Yes.
thing is, politics is all about marketing and messaging, which is why there's so many examples in your book that are about politics and marketing and messaging. And the one that really stood out to me was close to home, was the recent. It was the 2016 election, presidential election between Clinton and Trump. And Trump had a singular message that was repeated over and over again. It was on hats, it was on t-shirts, it was on signs, it was on bumper stickers, it was on the back of people's cars, it was everywhere. And Hillary, she did not have a singular message.
She did not. No, she did not.
So talk about that. However you want to take that, wherever you want to take it without being political.
So in 2024, we're all exposed. This is according to a recent Forbes article. We're all exposed to about 4,000 to 10,000 different marketing messages and ads every single day, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Now, Candace, out of those 4,000 to 10,000 things vying for your attention yesterday, the question when it comes to marketing and sales is, what is the one thing you remember? And I ask people this, and sometimes they remember something, usually one thing, sometimes two, but most of the time it's nothing. You don't remember a thing out of all of that noise. And so if we go back and we think of what was Hillary Clinton's slogan for her political campaign, lots of people are not going to remember any one of them. She tested multiple. The one that she settled on, I always forget which one it was. The only one that I ever remember is "I'm with her," which did not end up being the one that she stuck with.
Yeah, and I remember "Stronger Together."
Stronger Together. There you go.
The reason why I remember is because it's been used by other people in other ways.
There you go.
Yeah, so it wasn't unique.
Yeah, and if it was stronger together the whole time, if that was she's gonna die on this message of it's stronger together, and she just drilled it even more, then maybe we would have all remembered, and it might have made a difference with her marketing message.
What lesson as marketers can we take away from that for our own business?
Well, everybody knows that the message that broke through the noise in 2016 was "Make America Great Again." It's a great message, whether you like the man or not. It does not matter. It is too sticky. It's too memorable. It's too good of a message, and it broke through the noise. When it comes to everything that we teach inside of Ideas That Influence, we are looking for that one message that breaks through the noise and breaks through the noise consistently. Messaging that we can be consistent with, messaging that grows our business, and messaging that really grabs the attention of our dream customers and says, "This is for you." And then the response we're looking for from our dream customers is, "Wow, yes, this is interesting. This is what I'm looking for. Please tell me more." And once you have that inside of your business, we've seen multiple examples of people winning elections. But since the book is mainly about marketing, and since most of us as Gratitude Geeks, we own businesses, what we've seen is when you get that messaging dialed in, it can translate to multiple millions of dollars in additional sales, and sometimes billions of extra dollars in sales, billions with a B. I think we only shared $1 trillion example in the whole book. I didn't even mention that it was $1 trillion example, but it is worth noting that every single time that we're mentioning what Apple has done over the years, that's $1 trillion example of marketing messages that break through the noise.
Well, that's the thing that always just dumbfounds me is the number of people who are willing to stand in line in the rain to buy the brand new iPhone when they could wait 3 days and not have to stand in the rain, or the shoes, or whatever it is that people are willing to show up and stand in line for to get. It just never, I would never do it. Right. I'm one of those people who will never, I don't say never, but the idea of purchasing a brand new car to me seems silly. Right. When you can wait 2 years, get a 2-year-old car that has low mileage and pay a third, or 2/3, I don't understand that mentality, but there is, I'm not the target client for that app. As a matter of fact, I went kicking and screaming into the world of Apple ownership. I did not want an iPhone. I still don't want an iPhone, but I have an iPhone
But you
now.
have an iPhone. There you go.
I only have an iPhone because it was given to me.
There you go.
My husband forced me to have an iPhone. Um, but
Well,
I'm not the target client. But if the
yeah,
message resounds to the target client, so you have to make the message and the client match.
exactly. The big divide for Apple is there's status buyers within Apple. There's quality over uh anything else buyers within the Apple. We're talking about different Apple avatars. And then there's people that they are buying an identity. And then there's people that it's a mix of all three. It's status, it's quality over anything else, and it's I'm buying an identity. I think differently, therefore I buy Apple products. Status is I was first in line and I'm posting all about it on social media that I got the phone before everybody else. Quality is, well, it, that
I
is
think that's
debatable.
subjective.
It's debatable, right? In 2024, but when the iPhone first launched, it was hands down like game changer. Nobody could touch it. BlackBerry pretty much goes out of business.
Yeah.
The
I
iPhone.
saw a statistic recently that iPhones are now hacked more, just a little tiny bit more
Oh,
than Android phones. So the chance of your iPhone being hacked is now just a little bit higher than your Android phone being hacked. And there are significantly fewer iPhones on the market, aren't there?
uh, I don't know all the numbers.
Yeah.
The only thing I keep remembering is that trillion with a T. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm not knocking if you love iPhones. They're just, meh, meh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't care. I'm not into status. I've never been a I might take that back a little bit. Maybe when I was a teenager in the 80s, I wanted a United Colors of Benetton t-shirt
Ooh,
just
nice.
because but I never got one. So, but that was back way back in the day.
Well, when it
It
comes
just
to the
dated me.
Gratitude Geeks, you're forming an identity,
Yeah.
right? Above all, Apple has formed an identity amongst their users, and that's why they are the diehards. So it is really, really tough for me, especially because I was a victim way back in the 2000s of the Google slaps. It is really hard for me to love Google because I am still resentful about getting slapped by Google and having accounts banned by Google for Google ads for no reason at all. I'm still bitter about it,
Yeah.
Google. I'm sorry. And so for me, and our whole messaging is about doing things differently. So it's natural for me to fall in line with the tribe. Now, when it comes to the Gratitude Geeks, everyone that is aligned with what Candace Rodarty is preaching every day on the podcast, we like to buy stuff from Candace, and we are Gratitude Geeks. And if we have a pink shirt that says Gratitude Geek, we are going to wear it with pride.
I think that's the other thing. Can you put your slogan on a t-shirt that people would wear?
Can I?
Can anybody? Did you come up with Rainmaker?
I did not come up with the word
Okay.
rainmaker, but this is my specific t-shirt, and
That's
I
your
do have
specific.
people that buy my t-shirt. Yes. So
Who came up with that? Because I've been hearing Rainmaker for a while. I actually had to ask somebody what it meant. But
yeah,
if you'd like to know what Rainmaker means, a
there you
Rainmaker
go.
is the person who
That's our
discovers and
definition.
implements wildly successful marketing ideas.
There you
And
go.
that
That's our
person,
definition for it.
and
Yeah.
that person is me. That person is you. That person is Daniel. We are all Rainmakers.
Oh, Candace. Yep. That's our definition for what rainmaker is. Obviously, there's lots of definitions. Nobody has trademarked because you wouldn't be able to get the trademark it for it. There's too many people that have adopted that term as part of what they're going to call their tribe. Unlike, well, maybe you have some competitors that also call themselves Gratitude Geeks, but it seems pretty unique. So when it comes to what identity I'm selling people versus Gratitude Geek is better because it is more unique.
Yeah, there is somebody making T-shirts that say Gratitude Geek, but I don't own the copyright, so I can't stop him from making
Right,
T-shirts.
right, right.
Uh,
Yeah.
um, And, be a geek about gratitude. It just means that you are enthusiastic about the idea of gratitude.
Yeah.
And
It
what's
does.
not to love about that? I just
Exactly.
want to spread the message. The more you have, the more you're grateful, the more you have to be grateful for.
I talk about a gratitude book inside of Ideas That Influence. Flip the Gratitude Switch. My friend wrote
I
it.
haven't gotten there yet. I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
When you get the section about core beliefs and selling beliefs to your audience, Flip the Gratitude Switch is a great example of it. He sells the belief, which is very aligned with the belief that you sell. So the key to happiness, and this is like through multiple studies. I don't know how deep we've gone on this topic inside of the Gratitude Geek podcast, but the key to happiness is through gratitude. That is how we become happier individuals, is through being grateful.
Yes. And it doesn't matter if we say it in every episode. You can never say it enough.
Yes.
But that is the key to being happy, is to being grateful. When you're grateful, you are happy. It's not the other way around.
Yep.
You're not happy and then you're grateful. You're grateful and then you're happy. Works in that order. All right. Speaking of grateful, you and your family did something really cool. You all traveled the world together for a few years. What surprised you about that? What surprised you most about traveling the world with your family?
Probably what surprised us most was not trying to get political, but we were still traveling during the pandemic, and different states had completely different attitudes. Like just just different cities, different states, different areas. Like we're talking about from one week to the other. Like we're driving, a few states over, and then all of a sudden, we're going from everybody has masks to nobody has masks, and like nobody seems, just. And then we would attend church in one area and then church in another area, and same thing, just drastically different um cultural vibes going on surrounding everything regarding the pandemic. And so that was probably the most shocking, which we can go deep into. But the fast answer is this: we are wildly unaware of other people's world views, like wildly unaware.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to marketing and sales, you are more than likely, as a gratitude geek, wildly unaware of the worldviews of most of your dream customers. And it's a problem, and it ties back into your marketing messaging. And the more you can expand your own worldview and dive deeper into the worldviews of your dream customers, the better marketer you're going to be and the more you're going to sell.
I like that answer. So this is an interesting story about the pandemic. My sister-in-law, obviously this was after the restrictions had lifted, but my sister-in-law went to Ireland with her daughter-in-law. And I think it was just the two of them. I think it was just the two of them, but there may have been kids involved. I'm not sure. And everybody got COVID. They all got COVID. They couldn't fly with COVID. So they had to stay in Ireland longer. And my sister-in-law actually ended up having to go to the hospital. And the Irish hospital system took really good care of her. They made sure, she didn't have to spend the night, but she had to go to the hospital, right? So while she was there, they fed her, and they just made sure she had her own private room. They just made sure that she was well taken care of, and they sent her on her merry way. And she's all, "Where's my bill?" She never received a bill because they have a different way of looking at offering healthcare services in Ireland than they do here in the United States.
Yeah.
But that for a lot of folks, that just seems inconceivable. How
Yeah.
could you get free medical service and it be good?
Yeah.
But it's about priorities and messaging. It all comes back to messaging.
Yep. 100%. The belief in countries that have the universal healthcare behind their own healthcare is not that our healthcare is bad because we have universal healthcare. The belief is usually from most people that I speak to, lots of them, from Canada, it's pretty good. And then if I feel like I need to go to private care, then yeah, I just pay out of my pocket and do so. And it's a great feeling to know that you're at least taken care of from good healthcare if you run into an issue. Um, Imagine how much less stressful our lives would be in the United States if we had that. Now, I say that, and some people they're like, no, what? No, you can't say that, Daniel. Now, why do we think those ways? Why do some of us think that this is such a bad thing?
Do you want to
It
know the
all
secret?
goes down to messaging.
Messaging.
It's messaging. You are being fed a message.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, if you're receptive to the message, great. If you're not receptive to the message, great. Right.
yeah.
I mean, obviously the messaging has been working in the United States, or we would have a different healthcare system than we have. I will say, and I don't want to be political, but I'm going to get political for 5 seconds here because I can. Is my show. I am actually on Social Security disability because I have metastatic breast cancer. And metastatic breast cancer is a disability. I will have breast cancer for the rest of my life, and I will die from breast cancer, and I will be in treatment for the rest of my life, and therefore I am on Social Security disability, which means I'm on Medicare. Medicare is the best health insurance I've ever had.
Whoa, there you go.
And I worked in corporate.
Yeah.
So.
And you're grateful for it.
And I am extremely grateful for it. Boy, am I grateful for it.
Yes. Preach it. I go back to my point that we are wildly unaware of different worldviews and the way people see the world. And it's part of the reason why we are bad marketers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you are stuck in your paradigm wherever you're at in the United States. So I live north of Orlando. As such, I am currently stuck in a paradigm of this is how life is on the daily up here north of Orlando. Well, guess what? When I'm enjoying my 70-degree weather in the middle of the winter, I cannot help but have a paradigm, a worldview that is severely altered from what the rest of my dream customers are going through in the United States. And I will forget on a daily basis in my 70-degree winter weather that people are freezing their tushes off in Michigan.
No, we're not. We wear really good wool socks. I have so many wool socks. I have to put them in a box in the summer and put them in the closet. I have a box of wool socks that gets pulled out in the winter. I love it. Let's talk about the whole box experience. I really want to dig into this. What's in the box? I mean, I know it's in the box. Should we share a little bit of it?
Sure,
Obviously, it's an idea that influences. I keep pulling this up. This has been one of the most useful books. I have thumb through and I have my Post-it notes. Most useful books I've read in a while.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm going to be a guest on a podcast. It's a book lovers podcast. You know what? I'll hook you up. I'll introduce you to the host. And we were going to talk about a different book, but I might talk about this book. However, I might let you talk about your own book. We'll see. The book is the premise of her podcast. It's called the Biz Book Broadcast. Liz Scully is the host. She's been a guest on the show before. But the whole purpose of the podcast is to talk about a business book.
Nice.
Like the guest comes on and talks about a business book. So let's look at your box. I have it here. I've never done an unboxing in a podcast. I've done unboxing videos, but never in a podcast. So obviously I have everything all open. In this, I don't want to give away too many secrets, but it comes with this really groovy little coffee mug. And then there's some secret stuff I'm going to leave in the box. But then it has all these really cool envelopes. And it says, don't open until you get to a little point in the book. Talk to me about this experience. Where did this idea come from? And what can the person who is going through this experience expect at the end? Like, what's the outcome going to be?
Thank you so much, Candace. So what we teach, like so we're trying to move the needle in a really big way. We're not all about, like, when it comes to marketing, like, people are like, oh, you got to split test your headlines and stuff like that. And we're like, yeah, but to move the needle in a big way, we want like big, bold, sticky, wildly successful ideas that break through the noise. And so I wrote the book. And when I finished writing the book, I was like getting ready, all like excited because I was going to launch a free plus shipping book funnel. And now all the gratitude geeks out there are like, oh yeah, I've bought a free plus shipping book before. Well, guess what? Because all of us gratitude geeks have bought
They're
free.
on my bookshelf.
There you go.
They're all on my bookshelf, and half of them have never been opened.
Yes, true. The reason why is because it used to be a really cool new thing to go through a free plus shipping book funnel, specifically like around like 2015. Like it was a brand new concept, like, whoa, free plus shipping book funnel. In 2024, there are too many free plus shipping book funnels. And I had written this amazing book and I was about to put it out there in the world like everything else. But what we teach inside of our business to our more than 20,000 students and clients, we call it the X Factor Effect methodology. And it's all about doing things differently that break through the noise, differently in a way that our dream customers love. So I asked myself, am I going to launch my book that I worked so hard on just like everybody else that's doing free plus shipping book funnels, or am I gonna practice what I preach and do something differently? So I was sitting in a mastermind meeting in Mexico between some great friends. One of them's Mark Stern and the other is Ashley and Josh Latimer. And Mark Stern, he's talking about box experiences. And Ashley and Josh Latimer, they're talking about their kid war plan journal that's selling like crazy, that people absolutely love. And the inspiration comes to me that I need to be the first to launch something that my dream customers will love. And this is, in fact, the very first free plus shipping interactive book box experience where you go through the book and concurrently you are pointed to different experience envelopes that give you access to, we'll call them bonus presents, that you go through and you get to open and implement while you're going through the book. And all of the tools you get access to help you come up with even more wildly successful marketing ideas. Now, before I spent all of my money, which was a lot of money, on this wild idea, I vetted it. I did an ask campaign. I asked my dream customers. I said, I have this crazy idea. Ideas that Influence is ready to go, but I have this idea to turn it into a box experience. It's going to look something like this. And I had a mock-up and I said, what do you think? And everybody was like, this is incredible. This is amazing. You got to do it. So I bit the bullet and I did it. So that's the story behind the box experience.
I love it. And it is pretty amazing. The book by itself would have been fine. And you've just made it so much groovier.
Thank you.
Right. You've just made it so much groovier. One of the things that you include in the experience is a one-page marketing plan. And I am a huge fan of the concept of one-page marketing plan.
Oh, nice.
What goes on a one-page marketing plan? Why only one page, and what can you put on it, or what should be put on it?
Well, we tried to make ours as simple as possible, our one-page marketing plan. Basically, when it comes to pinpointing where your dream customers are hanging out, that's what it's all about. If you've taken the time to make sure that you first have a message worth sharing. So if I don't have a message worth sharing, if I have a message, a marketing message that's going to get caught up in the sea of sameness like everybody else, then the one-page marketing plan is not going to work. But once I followed the processes inside of the book, and I know that I have a marketing message that's worthy of my dream customer, something that's really going to catch their attention, then it all comes down to what marketing channels am I going to target based off of where my dream customers are hanging out. Because I do not care if the thing of the moment is TikTok versus Instagram. I don't care at all. The only thing I really care about is getting my marketing message in front of where my dream customers are hanging out. A few episodes back, you talked about how you used to advertise Candace for $750 a month per issue inside of a magazine, and it worked like gangbusters.
It was fantastic. Wouldn't spend that money today. Wouldn't spend it even if you gave it to me for free. I probably wouldn't do a magazine ad today.
Well,
yeah,
if people were still reading that magazine,
yeah,
and still hanging out there,
yeah,
then I would be that's where I would hang out.
yeah.
So
exactly. You go where your audience is.
Exactly. So we have people that, as weird as it sounds, like we will tell them, oh, a newspaper still exists in your town, and you're telling me people actually read it, and you're telling me that it's some of the boomers that are your dream customers that are like, we will tell them, go ahead and test that placement in the newspaper. Do the newspaper ad. Why not? If that's where your dream
if that's who your dream customers are.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Go where they are.
So that's what the one pager is all about. Once you've got that winning message, let's just pinpoint and do some tests where our dream customers are hanging out, and then build upon the placements.
Yeah.
Because the worst number in business is 1.
I am a huge fan of YouTube. I love the platform because it's easy and evergreen. And I have videos from 10 years ago that I still have people comment on weekly. And you don't get that in a lot of the social media sites, but I also know that my ideal client doesn't necessarily watch videos on YouTube. So it's really, and they're probably on Facebook, and I probably need to be doing Facebook better. I know this, but you have to get out of your head. What's easy for me is not necessarily what's best for you. Like Instagram is so easy, but is that where my clients are? Probably not. For me, probably not. I know they're on Facebook. I know they are. I know who my clients are, and I know they hang out on Facebook, right? They're not on LinkedIn. They're not on Instagram. They are on Facebook. So that's where I need to go. But I know that from years of working with my ideal client and understanding what they're doing and where they're hanging out. So that is really important. So, spending a lot of money on, or a lot of time and effort doing something in the wrong place will just get you crickets.
Yes. It's just, I mean, it's amazing. So sometimes, like, since we've helped so many different people. So sometimes I've coached somebody and I'll say, okay, you got a dental practice, and so what are you doing for advertising? And they're like, oh, I'm just, doing referrals and And I'm like, are you at least running Google ads? And they say, no, I've never done it. So, I mean, they're in business for 20 years and they've never done Google ads. And then the one thing I say, and then they come back to me months later and, oh, I'm so happy. Thank you so much, Daniel. We turned on the Google ads and now we've doubled our business. It was the one thing, that moved the needle in a big way. And it was something so simple. And business is just funny like that.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing sometimes that just moves the needle.
But the thing is, if you are a consumer, and you are looking for a dentist, what is the first thing you do? You ask the Google.
Yep.
And the dentist that shows up in the top 10 are the dentists that you look at. And then you look at their reviews, you look at it, do they take your insurance? I mean, but you look at their reviews. And if they have bad reviews, you don't go to that dentist. So a dentist that isn't doing Google and it's different. What is your end goal? I mean, are you a coach or do you do anything else?
Oh, so, we have what we call our X Factor strategy group, and we help people basically we're trying to help people become market leaders and category kings. So with that dentist, there are more marketing levers that we know work like crazy for that dentist.
Okay.
And we would be like, okay, and now that you've doubled your, so let's work on the next thing.
So do you offer marketing, like a digital marketing work, or are you just
Oh,
coaching
yeah.
and subcontracting or referring
No,
or?
we don't pull the marketing levers for you. We are more of high level strategic coaches. So if your ambition is to be like literally a market leader in your area, everything we teach with the X Factor effect with the 9 different pillars, including everything on the marketing and sales side, the end goal is market leadership. We want to help you differentiate and break through the noise inside of your markets in such a big way that you become a category king or category queen, or at least a market leader in your area. And that is what we are really, really good at doing.
And yeah, I know you help dentists. Who else? What other clients
we
do you
end up
love?
helping a lot of brick and mortar businesses. So like we've helped cut furniture businesses in the past. We help a lot of people in the home service industry as well. Roofers, gutter companies, window washing, like all that. And then we help people like Candace at times. So Candace is, she's a relationship marketing coach, and she's helping people, and she wants to, double her group size, triple, like we help coaches as well. But most of the time it's the brick and mortar businesses that are very, very attracted to us.
Yeah. Okay. And so when you're marketing this book, your end goal is to get this experience into the hands of the plumber that has 30 employees and they want to have 50 employees, and they want to have 25 trucks, or, with their name on it all over the place. I'm just so,
Yeah.
you are very clear on who.
And maybe they want, to go multi-state as well. So
Yeah.
that's how high level strategic we go with a lot of our customers.
Which is why your box is worth over, it's worth over $1,000.
Yeah.
What's the value on it?
I don't remember the exact value.
But it's worth over $1,000. Well, the reason why I say this is because you're attracting somebody who would appreciate an experience that's worth over $1,000. Some people want to attract a client that would be excited about an experience that's worth $200. So you don't have to make your extraordinary experience, or your wow factor, your wow box, or your whatever it is that you want to call it. You don't have to make it worth $1,000. You can make it worth something, just something that makes somebody feel good. That whoever your ideal client is, it would make them feel good.
We are definitely not saying to do what we've done and go all out with your own box experience.
Well, but again, it's about messaging, and even somebody with a good message and a bad heart can still,
yeah.
If the message is the message, I mean,
our messaging was intentional. We, over the past 12 years of working with people, we made sure that we rarely said the word money.
Mm-hmm.
When I first got into digital marketing, like in 2007, and this, Candace, like every single ebook that sold for $37 had the word money in it.
Yeah.
Money riches this, and money eBay riches that. And, it was just, whew, okay.
Yeah.
We intentionally, with our messaging, it's called ideas that influence. The word influence automatically, if we're talking about messaging, it attracts a certain type of customer. It's like, oh, like this interests me, right? But if it's, Google ad marketing riches, or TikTok ad riches, or whatever, money making TikTok ads, am I going to attract the doctor?
No.
And I've had a lot of doctors buy this book.
Well, it's such a great title too. Ideas that influence. I mean, so the proven step-by-step process for promoting the perfect marketing message to your most profitable audiences. It is such a fantastic title. I mean, you put a lot of thought and research into making sure that the title of the book was a title that would attract your ideal client. Because there is a target market, an author who wants to attract TikTok influencers, but it
Yes.
ain't you.
No.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool. I love that. I love the book. I'm so thrilled to have this in my hands right now. Thank you. There is I have no idea what's going to happen a year from now, but a year from now there's going to be something magical to happen because I read this book.
Woo, let's go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Is there anything that you want to talk about that we haven't talked about yet?
Well, we should mention for anybody that wants to grab one, you can go to bigideasbox.com and you can grab one. I'm grateful for you, Candace. Thank you so much. This is amazing. We could have easily gone down, since you're, the relationship marketing, queen. We should have gone deeper on the relationship aspect of it.
Well, we have a couple of minutes. What do you want to talk about there?
So I did a really fun marketing experiment in the book. I don't know if you got into it yet, but I went down to Vegas and I started trying to hand out $10 bills. Did you get to that story yet?
No.
So this is great because you're the relationship marketing queen. Now, so what I did was I went down with my brother-in-law. This was when I used to live in Utah. So we just drove down 6-hour drive, and I go to Wells Fargo and I pull out $110 bills. And I'm telling my brother this whole time, the whole plan, and he is convinced that, I'm just basically like, everybody's going to take my money and then the marketing experiment is going to be a failure. And I say, no, you watch, Jared, and we're going to film it and people will not take my money. A lot less than you think are going to take my money. But I didn't know what the answer was going to be. And so my approach was, I was on the Las Vegas Strip and, tourists walking by and everything, people having a good time. And my approach was, I would look somebody straight in the eye. So I would look at you straight in the eye, Candace, and I would reach out my arm, hold a $10 bill in front of you and say, hey, I'm giving away $10 bills. Would you like this $10 bill? And then people would normally pause and be confused. And most of the time people would say no. And then sometimes people would say, what's the catch? And when they would say, what's the catch? I would say, there is no catch. I'm actually just giving away $10 bills. Here you go. And then they would still, most of the time, not take the $10 bill. Now, I would like to hear your guess, Candace, and I would like all the Gratitude Geeks to guess how many out of 100, because whenever somebody did not take my $10 bill, I put it back in my other pocket and I kept that $10 bill for myself. So out of 100, how many people took my $10 bill? That's the question. What do you think, Candace?
Wait, you had $110 bills.
I had $110 bills. Gave 100 people a chance. The same approach. Hey, I'm giving away $10 bills. Would you like this $10 bill? That was my approach.
I keep thinking about my daughter and I wandered around a Pride festival last weekend. We just wandered around. It was there and we wandered, right? And there was somebody passing out flyers and just handing them to people, and people just automatically took them. Most of them didn't even look at it. Some of them ended up in the trash right away. People take flyers like that.
Yeah.
But the person passing them out didn't really say anything. He just handed them, and people just automatically take. But you started a conversation, which is a little bit more confrontational.
Yes.
I'm trying to get to the reason why I'm going to come up with my answer, right? Nope. I'm thinking it through. I'm talking out loud as I come to the answer. I'm going to say that of the $110 bills, 10 people took them.
Great answer, Candace. You are closer than most. Now, other Gratitude Geeks, I hope you have your number in mind. The answer was 6.
6
out of 100 people. And every single time with those 6, they were really close to not taking it. They were so confused, Candace, that this random white guy is on the Las Vegas Strip handing out $10 bills. Now, in contrast, and I talk about this in the book, there was somebody in a getup for the M&M World. They were outside in front of M&M World, and they were on the strip, and they were handing out coupons. And in the middle of the experiment, and I got this on film, I go over the M&M guy because I'm so frustrated. Like I was expecting rejection, like a lot of it, but not 94 rejections.
Yeah.
So I asked the M&M guy, I said, oh, like these coupons, they're okay. They're pretty cool. 25% off. How many of these, how hard is it to give these away? He says, oh, these are the easiest things in the world to give away. Like everybody takes them. And then I like really? And so I step back and I watch him, and it was right around 1 out of 4 people, if he would just extend his arm out, would take one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the lesson here is what? Relationship marketing.
Mm-hmm.
The M&M guy in his getup, like dressed up like an M&M with his M&M World banner, he was meant to be there. People know, like, and trust M&M. They've been eating M&M since they were babies. I've eaten M&M since I was a baby. We all know, like, and trust M&M. Now, this guy right here, Daniel Den, we have no idea on the Las Vegas Strip who he is. He looks like he's up to something, even though I was dressed.
Daniel, I hate to break it to you, but you look like you're from New Jersey. And, in Las Vegas, a guy who looks like he's from New Jersey could be questionable. I'm not trying to stereotype or anything, but I am. It's all about messaging.
You are good. It is about messaging. Now, and in this case, I was not meant to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be. I mean, you can solicit on the Las Vegas Strip. There's not rules against it. There's street performers, everything. But a guy handing out $10 bills, even though I was dressed extremely normal, I did not look like a bum or anything, but I was not meant to be there, and it looked like I was up to something, even though my camera guy was way off in the distance, and people could not see.
I wonder if you would have had better success if you had been dressed like a clown. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Because it is about messaging, and your appearance is part of your message.
Yes, it is. It is.
Huh.
And that we could repeat the experiment, and maybe, I don't know. I have no idea what would happen. We would have to completely repeat the experiment. But the point of the experiment is this. People do business at the end of the day with people that they know, like, and trust. We're going to go back to the psychology of sales that we mentioned in the beginning of the podcast. Brian Tracy's Psychology of Sales, selling through testimonials. People know, like, and trust you more when others are saying good things about you. Thanks to how gracious Candace has been, people know, like, and trust me more. The other Gratitude Greeks know, like, and trust me more because of what Candace has said about me. But if you strip it all away, when people do not know, like, and trust you at all, it is very hard to do business. And so the lesson here is this, and I got the idea from the experiment from another book where the guy challenged somebody. He's like, yeah, go out and try to give 10 people, offer them a $20 bill. I bet you'll strike out. And sure enough, the person struck out. Nobody would take the $20 bill. Whatever you can do to get people to know, like, and trust you will move the needle, move people down the sales funnel in a huge way. So for me, if I would have set up an official booth that's lights and everything, I'm giving away $10 bills. And if a line would have formed, then I would have sold out. I'm out of $10 bills. There's social proof. I look like I'm supposed to be there because I've got a booth, and everything in our marketing flywheel works together. All of these elements, we want to make sure the full picture is there, just like Candace and her husband were able to do with their custom furniture website. All of the right elements were there on that website for a really high conversion rate. People came knocking down the door looking for custom furniture all the time.
Yeah.
Because they were introduced through the website to a family business that they immediately started to know, like, and trust because of the presentation that was in front of them. That comes back to what? Your messaging.
It was pretty remarkable how many people would call me to place an order and talk about my daughter or something that they had read on the website because they had done their research to find out if we were legitimate. So I had a client once who was a photographer, and she wanted to do a free photo shoot at an event, and she had done it once and didn't have nobody took her up on the free photo shoot. And
Okay.
and I gave her the suggestion that next time you do this, make sure you have somebody lined up ahead of time to come and have their photo done, that people see you taking their photo so that you can get legitimacy, right?
Yeah.
Which is I mean, if you had set up a booth, free $10 bills, people may not have queued up for it. But if somebody was standing in line, they would have gotten in line behind them.
Yeah.
It's that third party validation. And it seems like, but it works. It really works. If somebody else is going to do it, somebody else has to do it first. It's like that video of the guy dancing all by himself, and he's just dancing all by himself. Like a minute goes by. You've seen the video. A minute goes by and this guy is dancing. He's all by himself. And then somebody else comes in and the other guy's dancing. The next thing you know, hundreds of people are dancing. Right? It always takes one.
Yep, 100%.
It takes one to stand in line.
On the flip side, this can be used for evil. Yeah. So have you witnessed the 3-card Monty in person?
Candace? No, I have not witnessed it in person.
I have witnessed it in person. It was in Paris. Mm-hmm. This was about 12 years ago. They place, I think they call them shills. It's the people that, like, they're sitting there gambling, pretending like they're actually, like, winning or losing money. I think they're called the shills, right? And the scam does not work without the shills. The scam also does not work if you don't have somebody on the lookout for the police, because if you're in Paris and you witness the 3-card Monty scam, you're going to eventually, if you stand there long enough, you're going to realize who is a shill. And then if you look around enough, you're going to figure out who is on the lookout for the police. But from somebody who's not in the know, then it just looks like people are winning and losing money, and it's all fun and games, and you think you can win some as well. And I saw a guy, I didn't even know 500 euro bills existed, but he lost his $500 or 500 euro bill to these scammers. And I witnessed his wife yelling and crying because he lost the money. And just as a heads up, if you ever witness the 3-card Monty, be very, very careful. Do not get any bright ideas to whisper in people's ears or rat anybody out, because you are asking for it.
Wow. Wow. Just if you see, I mean, we've all seen it in movies and on TV shows. Why anybody would be sucked in by it in this day and age is surprising. It's surprising. But there is a difference between the 3-card Monty and asking somebody to show up to your event and be a guinea pig so that other people would see that you're offering a legitimate.
Yes. I was not insinuating that one was So
one is a smart marketing tactic. The other one is a crime.
Yeah, okay. One is a crime.
Crime, marketing tactic. Different thing.
Yeah, the difference here is, are you going to use social proof in order to help you with your relationship marketing or not?
And sometimes you have to engineer the social proof, which goes back to the testimonials thing. Yeah. You have to share your testimonials.
Yep.
You have to share your. All right, we need to wrap up. So this is your moment of gratitude. Daniel Den, for whom or what are you most grateful?
I am most grateful for my wife. I would not be anything today without like with everything we've built with our family and with business, she does so much for us, and just very, very grateful, eternally grateful for her.
Thanks for tuning in to Gratitude Geek, the relationship marketing podcast for micropreneurs building genuine, lasting relationships with clients, colleagues, and community. Our theme music is track 14 by Rev Brock and Soul Lily. To connect with our guest, Daniel Den, head over to the show notes at gratitudegeek.com. This is episode 226. I've been your host, Candice Rudarty. Stay groovy, my friends.
Stay groovy, my friends.